How about that for the first cast?
All right, folks, we just wrapped up stop number 4 of the Tackle Warehouse Invitationals at Lake Eufaula, and Jake Lawrence got it done. Dude, congratulations.
Thank you so much. What a special week.
Dude, it was really cool because this week set up perfect for you. You're an offshore guy. This was an offshore tournament.
It did. You know, there were a lot of factors, and there's always a lot of factors that are involved in winning a tournament of this caliber, and for it to kind of fall into my wheelhouse and what I liked, and for the, you know, all the changes that we had during the week, I think a lot of that really played into my hands, and what a special week. Couldn't ask for it to go any better.
Well, I know you have a lot to teach us. Can we go back out to the lake and learn how it's done?
Let's do it. I can't wait.
All right, let's get after it. All right, so Jake, we're out here now, and we're gonna idle this one, and this is something that you are expert at. I mean, you've been on the side imaging game since the very beginning.
Correct.
What are we looking for out here?
Yeah, so there's a number of different factors that I'm looking for. You know, obviously the fish themselves, but in order to find the fish, we've got to really understand where those fish like to get and where they like to set up. So you notice this is a long bar that runs along the creek channel. It's got really hard bottom. You can see the edges here are very dark. So what that's representing is soft bottom. And again, the brightness that you see here in the center is our hard bottom. That's where all of these largemouth are going to live. You can actually see 3 on down imaging, and there they are on our 2D. But we still haven't come across the main
You're running
school.
about 100 feet out and on Mega.
I do. So very similar to forward facing with side imaging. I want to keep my range consistent. When I learn a size of whether it be an object or even fish rather, I want that to be consistent every single time that I see them. So this is a perfect example right here. I'm going to pause the screen for just a moment and let's talk about this. So what we have here is, it's a great representation. First, let's start with our 2D and our down imaging. You can see a handful of bass that are kind of spread out and scattered across, very much like what we've discussed. But right here in this one little area, you'll see there's a little congregation of them. Now, you want these fish to be grouped together, but we're going to look at some whites and some hybrids here in just a moment that they're too close together, so they're not bass. We want bass to be related to each other, but bass generally are like us. Like, we can be best friends, but you're fine sitting over there and I'm fine sitting here. We don't need to sit in each other's laps. And bass are very much the same. They all will generally have like 1 to 3 feet of space in between them, as long as they're aggressive and kind of set up. So if we look at our side imaging, we get a much better picture of the difference between your whites and hybrids as opposed to your largemouth, and how they set up and what they look like. So if we look over here to the right side of our screen, this is not a huge school, but you'll see each individual little dot, they all have spacing in between them, generally about the same amount of space. These are bass. There are only a couple really nice ones in there. I think those are probably going to be some spotted bass, and there's one right here that's a really good one, and that's most likely going to be a largemouth. But if we look just to the left of our boat here, you can see this really tight grouping that we have, and the shadows, they're all almost touching each other. So that's going to be your white bass. Now, again, there might be a largemouth kind of scattered around them. That was pretty common throughout the week, but it's really, really crucial this week to be able to differentiate between the whites and the largemouth, and where you needed to cast in this school. That's a really cool image there.
So what we saw here, super educational. Is this a fishable spot? Like, is this something you'd stop on?
This is something that I'm going to spend just a couple minutes on. They don't look, you know, I don't feel like we're going to catch a ton out of here, but again, this week it was really important to get those better than average bites. And a lot of times they would live and kind of relate around the hybrid. So this is a school that I'm going to spend a little time on. It's not something that I'm super excited about, but let me show you here how to be kind of take it a step further away from just this is a school we need to throw there. So what I would do is again, we've discussed kind of the layout of this school. Where I'm going to mark this school is actually in the tightest group, where there's the most bass in the smallest area. So if we look right here next to the break line, to the ledge itself, that's the big shadow, the black area that you see. That's where the transducer cannot send a signal and wrap it around the backside of that ledge. So the best group of them is actually right next to, it looks like maybe 3 or 4 bluegill beds, old bluegill beds from last year. But we can see about a dozen that are really tight. They all have 2 to 3 feet of spacing in between them. That's the group of bass that I'm going to try to target in this school, because I feel like those are the ones that I can get to react and to fire on our baits.
So we're lined up here now. We found the fish. You know, it looks like a possibly catchable group, right?
It does. I'm excited to get my cricket in there, let me tell you.
All right, well, let's go, I guess. Did I totally miss him?
You did.
Nice, nice,
So we can
nice.
see.
Everybody watch Jake to see where to cast.
Well, no, one just rose up right in front of your trimmer head there.
I let it sink all the way to the bottom that time, like I'm supposed to.
You did?
Look at these ones coming up to the surface.
They are.
Holy smokes. Did you see that?
I did. You got excited. So there's your scrounger, trimmer head, kind of crawling on the bottom. See how slow you're moving it?
Yep, don't
so
move
you're
it
gonna
that slow.
see how he's following it? Now speed it up. Yep.
Got him.
Got it.
Oh my God.
Perfect.
That was beautiful. God, I hope that was recording.
Oh no! I've had my fair share of that this week. That was such a cool bite, though. You did everything.
It was like perfect.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Exactly. So that's been a key. You noticed.
We're not going to catch anymore, right?
Hopefully we can, but that did kind of make it tough. But you noticed how that fish was following your bait, and as soon as you kicked it into high gear, it triggered the bite. Once I saw that in the first couple hours of practice on the first day of practice, I knew we were in trouble. Like we cracked the code of how to make these fish bite.
All right.
Hopefully you got that fish far enough out away from the school that they don't really know kind of what's going on. So you can see my bait just fell right at that large cluster at about 100 feet. I just came right over them. So here I have one following, trying to let him. So we literally saw that hundreds. Oop, here comes another one.
Right at the break.
That's another pretty good one.
Look at that one. Go!
I'm sure most everyone heard me talking to him all day on live.
You talk to your fish a lot, which is normal.
it's frustrating. That was literally 70% of my cast during this tournament. You would have that happen. Even the last day of the tournament, they kind of got a little weird to our trimmer head. They wouldn't quite react. I'm not sure. I kind of felt like it was more of a wind or a lack of wind yesterday that probably didn't help this particular bite. But I noticed they would do that. My goodness, if I could have weighed in one just hit me. He just hit me again.
Got him! Yes.
That's another good one.
This is how the pros do it, boys.
Good one. Let me slide under you here.
Absolutely, absolutely. You want me to go down and get him?
Ah, get him.
All right.
No pressure today. Well, come on.
Watch him be like an 8-pounder.
How cool would that be?
I mean, pretty cool.
Oh my goodness! Oh!
Wow, these fish real camera shy.
They are. Hey, don't step back.
Gosh.
Okay, so what you'll see here, we've just made a handful of casts. We've actually lost 2 right here at the boat. But what it's done is it's actually gotten the school really excited. So you can see everybody's moving around anywhere from 20 to really all the way out to about 85 or 90 feet there. everybody's moving around. Oh, we've got 2 on us, 3, 4 on us.
Come on, come on. Oh. And they're not biting.
That one that's still following is a big one. That's a 4 to 5.5-ish.
It's kind of a good spot here.
It is, But it's really, it's neat to see on forward facing what changes and kind of the reactions that that you get out of these fish. And what I mean by that is not necessarily on our bait, but again, before we got those 2 bites, everything was laying on the bottom, everything was real still, you know, really kind of dormant. Now that we've gotten 2 bites, it's gotten the entire bar and every bass up here kind of on attack mode. Like they're looking, they don't want to miss out on their opportunity. So this is a really important moment to be able to get in there and capitalize. This opportunity isn't going to last very long. These fish are going to break apart again here pretty soon. So it's been important to, once you get one to bite, to get it back in there. Oh, here it comes.
Oh gosh.
Come on.
Oh. Look at them all.
That's exactly what you want to see. So another thing that you'll notice is as we're making these casts, you see now they're anywhere from, you know, 20 to call it 75 feet. They keep coming, they're following our baits. And so what I was able to do this week is use my performance fishing brakes when I noticed that I would call those fish up to the boat, or maybe I caught one and you would have a number of them follow it. I was able to drop my performance brakes in and back ourselves away without ever having to take my eye off of my target with forward facing, and also just not having to blow my prop wash out into the middle of that school.
Yeah,
the one cool thing about the brakes is that all of your prop wash really kind of erodes away or dissipates on the hull of the boat. So they don't actually get to feel it out there as if they would using your actual trolling motor. One tendency that a lot of people tend to have when they're utilizing forward facing and watching a fish come up and, you know, kind of charge your bait, surge at your bait, they have a tendency to make, you know, to want to let it fall, like act like that particular bait fish or crawdad has died. Not always, but a lot of times I see a negative response out of that. It's more of you're trying to play like cat and mouse with it. You want to keep the bait away. You want to allow him to, you know, to catch up to it. But at the same time, you don't want to almost give him like a layup. To some degree, it's almost, he won't bite it, will he? But it's almost like if you give them too easy of an opportunity, like
they don't believe it or something.
Yeah, that's not normal. That's not right. And so, again, this week it was more about pulling my bait away from them than it was to actually drop it and let him catch up to it.
Speaking of baits, let's dial in on this a little bit. Because you had a selection, but this was the key.
This was the money.
It was the differentiator as
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, so what this was, it's a 3/4 ounce Tennessee River tackle trimmer head. I've got it rigged with a Castaic Jerky J, so there's really, the trimmer head is kind of a fickle bait to learn and to master. And really it's all about just getting the bait to run properly. It's kind of like a suspending jerk bait, you know, to get one to slowly sink or to slow rise. There's some minute little differences there, but the hardness of the plastic will determine the action of the bait. This Jerky J is a very dense, very hard plastic, so it's very stiff.
It's really durable, like as far as baits go.
It's very durable as far as soft plastics go. But that really steadies the bait. It really kind of closes in that wobble, makes it very similar to, like, I guess the best way to explain this would be your Tremor Shad is like your square bill crankbait, and your Castaic Jerky J is like your flat-sided balsa, you know, coffin lip style. It's a very thin, narrow, tight wobble to it. But, you know, running that on a Savant 7.3 medium heavy, it's a medium heavy, but it's got a really parabolic, kind of whippy action to it. It's kind of on the lighter side of medium heavy. And that's important when we're winding this bait very fast, much like a crankbait. You need that rod to kind of load up and give to the fish when they eat it. The line I was using, you know, 15-pound fluorocarbon and a 6:3 to 1 gear ratio reel. I have experimented, you know, you would think burning it with that 7 would be better. I just like the comfort. Anytime that I'm winding a bait, I want that 6:1 to 6:5 to 1 gear ratio. My bottom moving baits is where I'm going to move up in the, you know, 7 and 8 gear ratios.
Okay.
But it was really you know, a great system. We maybe didn't showcase that exactly today, but it really landed the majority of the bites that I got this week. I lost very, very few on the actual trimmer head, and it was certainly a big part of this week being able to pull in behind people and to elicit a reaction or a strike that you know, other guys weren't able to make.
Jake, this week was, I don't want to say it was a culmination because you've got a lot of fishing ahead of you, but you've gone from insurance salesman to guide to duck guide, and you're pretty much a full-time pro fisherman right now, and it's got to be cool.
It is. You know, it's always been a dream of mine. It's something that, you know, we've worked towards for a long time. We've been probably a little more patient than some others, and you know, I feel like there are some attributes there that, you know, maybe I wouldn't have been able to pull this out, you know, had I not done that and kind of matured in the way that I have. But what a fantastic week, and what a fantastic day 5. And, you know, weather was a little squabbly for us, made it a little difficult today, but we did the best we could. And I had a lot of time, or a lot of fun, and a great time with you. Look forward to spending another day 5 very soon. This isn't going to be our last.
All right. Well, you've got some people to thank too, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So a really cool story. You know, I've wanted to do this my entire life. Yeah. This has always been the thing. I've always, you know, everything else was just a stepping stone to get to this point. But I really had a few key guys. One, you know, really close friend, kind of a mentor to me, stepfather, you know, like figure. Monty there at Mallard Estates. Really pushed me. He's been my team partner for the last couple years, and
okay.
we've
He's
had
got the red bass cat?
He does. He does. We've got a lot of success, you know, and kind of been making the loop there around the Tennessee River, but he's really the one that I'm standing here today because of. There's no question. For the last couple of years, you know, every tournament, you need to do it. We got to go. Let's do it. If we're going to do it, this is the year. Let's go. And I wasn't ready, or I didn't feel that I was ready. I'm more of a conservative kind of guy. I don't take very many chances, and so it was really cool for him to push me. I mean, it literally took him pushing me out the door, say, "You're doing it. Let's go. Let's pack the bags and make it happen." And without that, we wouldn't be standing here. We wouldn't have that trophy, and so much more along with it. So cannot thank Mallard Estates and Monty and that group enough. It's been a wild start to the year, and we're not done yet. I think we've got a lot of fishing left and a lot of exciting moments that, again, we wouldn't be there without those guys, and it's so important.
All right. Well, I tell you what, man, this was a fantastic day 5. Well deserved. We got some more rain coming in. Yep. Thanks for taking me out.